you an update as soon as the audio is back up working. So please do bear with us. We apologize for the inconvenience. Let's start off on a Premier League note this particular weekend because we have a big game on our hands. We have a Manchester derby this weekend. That is the biggest game of the round. And let me go through the round with you. So there's Everton versus Arsenal. And if you think that this game is a walk in the park for Arsenal, well, I have bad news for you. Think again, because I believe that Everton actually puts the brakes on Arsenal in the first round of this game. I think it was an Everton draw. It was a draw. Yes, so there's that. So the YouTube audio is back up. Okay, so it's back up. We appreciate the patience. We are back up again. It's not going to be an easy game. You can ask Liverpool in their last game against Everton. David Moyes has this team looking very, very well drilled in no time. There's Palace versus Brighton, Ipswich versus Wolves, and I have some questions about West Ham United and AFC Bournemouth because West Ham United look like they've gotten worse under Graham Potter. I'm not even sure how. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. Aston Villa are up against Forest. That is a tasty game. Forest are looking like they will lock down the Champions League spots like I said they would. Still some way to go, but looks like they can make it happen. On Sunday, there's Brentford, Chelsea, Fulham, Liverpool, Spurs, Southampton, and then Man United, Manchester City. And then the game week ends on Monday with a Leicester-Newcastle game. But also the big news is that Kevin De Bruyne says that this season is his final action as far as Manchester City is concerned. We'll get to that in a bit, but let me start off with you, Coach, on that Manchester derby note because that is a big game. Before we even get into any of the tactics, matchups, like how are you feeling going into that game over the weekend? United's form, they haven't been able to win back-to-back games all season. Man City themselves cannot be trusted this season. What kind of game in your mind is awaiting all of us?
A game that, to be honest, nobody truly and really knows what is going to happen. For the very first time, in recent time, Pep Guardiola, Manchester City will walk into this game feeling overly confident that they will win at all costs because of the quality of the football they used to play. This season, we were all shocked. Look, we've all been shocked at the way Manchester City season has gone. We never saw this coming, and the manner in which they've handled it has not been that of a very top club. Top teams hardly go through the run that they've experienced just after winning the league, I think 4 times on the trot. At least, even if you don't win the league, you don't struggle for
probably
Champions
finish
League
second
football.
or third.
Second or third, minimum. So if you look at the way they've handled themselves, it's not been the best. On the part of Manchester United, they are still not there yet. The season was completely wasted the moment I would say Jim Ratcliffe and his people decided that they were bringing in Amorim. He's not the problem. But in January, in the month of January, in that January transfer window, I think Manchester United should have gotten at least 2 or 3 players into this team, especially when you allow the likes of Anthony, who was not playing but is part of the first team, the likes of Rashford, who was not playing but is part of the first team. If you allow these guys to go, you needed to replace them, okay? In the attacking sense. If you look at Manchester United, they are playing, they look very solid at the back under Amorim. That is one thing I've given, and that is what the back 3, back 5 transition always give you. It gives you more men at the back and make sure that the spaces in between your defensive line are very, very short and narrow, and therefore you can easily deal with the situation. The only problem, which happens to be a bigger problem of this team, is what is happening up front. Bruno Fernandes, who has contributed a lot of the goals, per the form of Casemiro, Bruno, all of a sudden, is looking like a better partner for Ugarte.
In fact, let me just buttress that point. So United have scored only 37 goals this season.
That's right.
And they are on track to finish on 47 points, which is a new Premier League low for the club. Now,
That's
even more interesting is the fact that there's a little stat here that says that they have scored more than once in just 2 Premier League games in 2025 against Everton and surprisingly against Liverpool.
There you go.
Only twice
Only
have they
twice.
scored more than once.
You understand? I think they scored more than once against Manchester City in the first leg, where they won that game 2-1. So,
This is constricted to 2025.
2025
Yeah.
in the whole year.
Yeah.
So for me, if you look at where they've come from, I think they will have to be looking at that game on Thursday. Yes, I understand they are not going to get relegated. I think they are 20 so points saved from being relegated. They are not going to be relegated. But I understand it's a derby. You don't want to get humiliated. So they lost against Forest in midweek.
Yeah.
You cannot go into this game and then go and lose and then take that losing mentality into the game away to Lyon on Thursday. So Ruben Amorim's system looks to be the system that is able to deal with Pep Guardiola. And anytime, if you looked at this Man City team under Pep Guardiola, anytime a team has gone a back three, back five, more men in the middle, Pep usually his team struggles.
Yeah.
We saw that with Antonio Conte when Conte won the league with Chelsea. That Chelsea team was so mean, was so tactically disciplined, compact, and Man City struggled against them. Amorim at Sporting Lisbon, Man City struggled against him. Amorim, the very first Manchester derby, we all saw what happened. Man City struggled to create chance for the very first time against Manchester United, and United eventually ended up winning that game. I don't know the mentality of the United players. If they accept the fact that it's a derby, it's a bragging right, and they will need to get something out of the game, I think we're going to have a beautiful game. Man City themselves are very much aware that Champions League is not guaranteed as we speak. By the time they'll be going in, as we speak now, I think they are sixth or fifth or so. They are not in the top four. We got the top four.
I think they're in the top.
No, they are not. Yesterday, Chelsea won.
Chelsea's now
They are fifth. Manchester City are fifth.
Yeah, they are
So
fifth.
they have 51 points. Chelsea have 52.
What about
Newcastle have 50.
There you go.
Aston Villa have 48.
There you go. And I foresee that by the time they will be going into the game against United, they will not even be fit.
Possible.
They will not even be fit.
Possible have dropped a few paces.
They would have dropped either 6 or 7.
I expect Newcastle to beat Leicester.
There you go.
I expect Villa Forest is a tough game.
It's a tough game.
That should be a good game.
Chelsea Brentford should be an interesting
But
game.
whether Northern Forest lose or not,
not,
they will still remain third.
because
So
they
by
are
the
there.
time that Man City will be going to the game against United, they will not be in any Champions League spot. And that is what is going to make this game. Look, the season has been this bad for Pep Guardiola. It will get worse if they don't get Champions League football. It will get worse
Because
if
that's
they
all
don't-
he's been saying, that
Yes.
they need to go to the Champions League. It's
They'll
a
have
big
to.
deal.
They'll have to get Champions League. As for Man United, they are aware that they cannot get Champions League football through the league. They can get Champions League football by winning the Europa Cup. Will they win it? Is another thing. If I'm the manager, I'll prioritize that. So look, it is unfortunate that this game that had a lot of good aroma around it in terms of the bragging right, in terms of being a title decider, in terms of being the game to decide the Champions League slot, is being made an ordinary game because of how bad the two teams are this season. But I think still the quality will come to fore. If you ask me, it's at Old Trafford. I don't remember the last time Man City beat Man United at Old Trafford. It's been for some, I think 2-3 seasons now. They've not been able to beat United at Old Trafford because they didn't beat Ten Hag in I think in two outings. They didn't beat Ten Hag at Old Trafford, and Amorim too has beat. So at Old Trafford in recent times, it's usually gone Man United way, and I think Man City too will be missing Erling Haaland. I hear he's injured. If
They said he'll miss the rest of the Premier League season.
there you go. So a huge goal threat has been taken away from them.
That's serious.
That is huge. So that is another chance that people will look at, or the other teams will look at. Look, this guy will not put any fear in any. And Mamouche is a good player, but he's not a proper number 9. He's
not Erling Haaland.
That's it. He needs to be running off somebody. He needs somebody to take the defenders away for him to go through the spaces that will be created. Who is going to do that in this Man City team? There's no Alvarez. He's gone. They sold him. They didn't replace him. Now that there's no Haaland, maybe Pep biggest bet will do a false 9. But if you look at him doing a false 9, who exactly can walk into that false 9 role and play it to perfection? Look, it is going to be very interesting. But if I have my way, if I look at what the two things are doing and the system the two things will play, if United can avoid turnovers. When I say avoid turnovers in the possession, I think Man City are a bit more vulnerable at the back than Manchester United is. So because of that, I'm tilting slightly towards a narrow Manchester United win.
Narrow Man United win. Coach has said a lot. So let me do this, right. To be honest, I have not been impressed with United's pretty boy Portuguese manager in the dugouts.
The handsome one.
I have not been impressed at all.
His hairline is receding because of all the
losses. The pressure on the job.
His hairline is receding.
Like I said before, coach went in. He's not won back-to-back games since he became United manager. That's worrying for me, and I don't like this notion that the season must end. He must bring in his players before they can begin to win games. I mean, win a title is one thing, but you can't win back-to-back games without overhauling a whole squad.
Let me just say something based on that before Susu comes in. You see, I understand when you say you don't like, you are a bit disappointed in Amorim. For me, I'm not. I'm not because of...
Because you didn't have high expectations for him for his first season.
No, I
did?
I did, but not to see him walk in there and begin to dominate with this current crop of players. The system he's playing, you need players to fit in that system. It's not the very common normal system. It's not. Players are playing this system, they are very uncomfortable. Do I support him to change the system? No, not with this crop of players. Because even when you have coaches play to their strength, they've not been up to the task. And if you look at the way they've played their games, the manner in which they tend to give the ball away, that is not system specific. It is the player own technical ability that is that poor. You watch Man United play and the manner in which the ball is turned over. On the other day, he said that we tend to lose the ball even when we are not under any form of pressure from the opponent. When you do that at this level, you pay. Look, every coach, if you're a Manchester United coach, if you're a Man City coach, if you're a coach from Liverpool, you need your players to fit in. And his slot has got players that understands the system. The system is playing is not very different from Jurgen Klopp. It is the style, not the system, that is different. So for me, look, Amorim will have to be backed in Nketsia.
So he doesn't take any blame for the poor results?
No, if you listen to him today, he said, we are changing a lot of things. And as a result of that, I know time is not in my favor. People were telling him today at his press conference that you need 3 years to begin. He said, no, I am preparing this team. We are suffering today as it is because next season will be different. Next season will be very, very different. This team will improve tremendously because of the 2, 3 players, 4 players I'm going to bring in. It is system specific.
Fair.
The likes of Maguire. Look at it. My last point, then I get the chance to talk. Look, if you look at Man United, there are close to 10, 11 players who are not playing. Who are just not playing. Not because he doesn't want to use them, because they've been injured all season long. All season long they've been injured. Now, the very few that he has to cope with are not up to the task. Most of them are not up to the task. It's just a few. Mazwari, Delete, Bruno Fernandes, Ugarte, and then 1 or 2 people.
Fair.
Ahmad, who happens to be one of the most important player in the setup, got hurt. And since Ahmad got hurt, luckily for the team, Bruno just went up. And it will take time. I understand he needs to take some of the blame. But it will be so premature to look at him as a manager and say, look, you've not been there. I think next season, the song that Gavi tends to play all the time when United lose games.
Now when
he doesn't play the game, he doesn't play the song. Sorry, he only plays the song when United lose.
No,
man.
They lost to
man.
They lost to Nottingham Forest.
I was not in the studio, but I was listening to everything that was happening. And I've listened to it several times that you only play that picking song.
Coach.
When we, no, man.
I'm coming.
When,
No,
no, man.
The guy has caught you. Let him.
No, man. Let me land.
When you guys kicked Arsenal out of the FA Cup,
That was when I played the song. I was there that day.
I played it for you.
I told you to play. I told you to play that song.
And ever since then,
and
you have made
when
it
you
your
are here
modus.
and United win, you don't play. When we lose, then you play. What sort of diabolical thing is that? Don't worry. Next season, you play it and play it with joy.
Mr. Graham, are you sharing all the sympathy for Ruben Amorim? Because I'm not.
Oh no,
We don't need
no. I have to say I'll say I'm somewhere in the middle. I think when you're a coach, you need certain players to do certain things, play a certain way. The way a system is, it's part of it. Like when you're playing a 3-back system, a highly specialized system, your wing backs need to have a certain profiles. So if you have players who are traditional right backs and maybe even more defensive minded right backs, it can be difficult for them. So sometimes even a winger is better in that position. That's why I saw him trying Ahmad there in the beginning and stuff. So I'm sympathetic to a certain extent. But I agree with you, the results are not good enough. I think we can agree on that because especially considering where they were, how close they were to top 4 under Ten Hag. I think they were what?
They were like 8 or 9.
6 points.
Yeah, but they were 6 points behind 4th.
There wasn't a guarantee that they were going to.
Oh no, coach. No, I was saying
But
that.
no,
I
there's
thought
no guarantee
we also.
everything.
I also agreed that Ten Hag had to go. That one day, I do. But we're just saying that when you go from being 6 points behind top 4, thinking that Amorim is coming, maybe you can push for top 4, and now you're 13th. It's not good enough. True. That one you can say that this season, even though we are not expecting much, it's not been good enough.
Yep.
I think we can agree.
And they are on pace to finish with their lowest point tally in the league.
Exactly. So that one, but they've been okay in Europe, and in the big games they perform. These are silver linings for sure because we saw some of the big games where Ten Hag got disgraced, especially the away ones, and especially when Man United had to go away, they had some very bad results. There was a 6-3 against City. I think was there a 7-0 against Liverpool or something like that. His last game against Liverpool, he lost 3-0. He's had some bad results in the big games. So at least Amorim picking up in the big games is encouraging. Because at least for Manchester United fans, if you are there, you're not winning anything. You don't know if you win anything this season. You don't want your rivals to disgrace you. Because if you are being honest, Man United fans, ask them who they'd rather lose to, Crystal Palace or Arsenal. Would they rather lose to Leicester or Chelsea? Because you know that at the end of the day, you have friends who support those teams who are going to banter. Because the truth is, football fans, at the end of the day, they don't care too much about who you lose to. Once you lose, it's bad. But there are some teams you don't want to lose to just because of their rivalry and stuff. So the big game performance has given them some hope. Look at how happy coach was when they knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup. That's just an example of something that you are not sure you get under Ten Hag just because the big games have not been good for him. So I can give Amorim the credit that in the big games, he's improved their performance. The issue is that because he's unable to implement a system and he's struggling to do that so far, when they play teams they should beat, that's why they don't look as good.
It's the goal, so that's why the system is implemented. Though the players don't understand. Look at the chances on Wednesday like this, on Tuesday against Forest.
Coach,
United shouldn't be losing
but it's
that.
not even. But it's not even just
They're not
those
scoring
games.
goals.
It's not even just. There's some other.
you start.
No, wait. You see, I like to put my man on record. Could tell me because United fans need some hope that there's a clinical. Okay,
It's two things. United is not going to buy a development striker again. That Ruben Delap nonsense is put away.
Liam
Delap. I mean Delap. Delap.
But Abekutu says Jokeres.
Two strikers.
You see the way he mentions the name better than the Swedish people.
It's either Jokeres.
Yeah.
Or Osime. I'm seeing things that it is very likely.
Charlie, who were big dreams to say Uta?
No, because
as
Osimhen, the people at Napoli, they're in love with Garnacho. And from the way the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe are doing, it is looking very much clear that it's going to be a swap deal with United adding something. Because Garnacho, as we speak, has put his house up for sale. Where his $3.5 million
dollar house
or
pound house,
he's selling it. Why is it? It's an indication that he's leaving, and everything is pointing the fact that he's going to
thank
Napoli.
God.
And if that is the case, United is only doing that deal because of Victor Osimhen. If Osimhen walks into this team, whoever fails to put in those crosses, you will see the wrath of Osimhen. You damn.
Coach, I'm not. I'll be
They
honest.
say
I'm not.
Osimhen Yorkers.
Coach, me personally, I'm not convinced by the system personally.
Why?
Because
Why?
I don't. You
It's a
see,
solid system if you have the right players.
but you see, they don't have the right players.
So
And
back
he's-
the man.
Yeah, but you see, I'm talking about now. I'm not talking about what might happen in the
No,
summer.
but have you not asked yourself,
Susu,
the
but
man
there's-
in the Europa Cup
No, coach,
hasn't lost any game.
No, but coach, I said
But
that.
he acknowledged
I
that.
acknowledge that. I said that before.
He's doing
You
well
see-
in
So I'll
Europe.
give you an example. For
No,
instance,
but
the
see-
wing back position.
No, I
Diogo
but
Hold on, hold on,
but
hold on.
you
Let's do
see,
something, right?
didn't
Let's
I
do
mention, but I mentioned the wing back. Mentioned it.
Let's do something. Coach had his time.
Me, I'm just giving you an
No,
example.
no, but
No,
I mentioned
when you have when you have an interjection to make, let the person land with
but
his
you
point.
see,
Then you can make.
but you
the
see,
movement.
even that I mentioned the wing back position. I mentioned
Yeah.
it. It's not like I've not given credence to all of these things. I understand all these points, but it still doesn't justify what I'm seeing from the team.
Same here.
That's
I agree.
all it is.
I
My
agree.
whole thing is I understand all the reasons coach has put out.
Portuguese coach no Nyanzi.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
no, that one there. I'm not
Amorim
saying
no
that.
Nyanzi.
And the thing is, I'm not saying that coach is wrong. Coaches need time. When you come in the middle of the season, it's difficult to implement your
Yeah.
system. Even the best coach in the world, if you
Yep.
bring him in mid-season, you will struggle in some ways.
Yep.
But there's a level of struggle that is acceptable and some that is unacceptable.
True.
That's my only thing.
We the United fan, we have accepted this struggle in the league. We win the Europa Cup. We are in the Champions League.
Hey!
What about that?
Are you sure you win the Europa League?
What can I be normal?
So you are saying it's assured.
We are winning the Europa League.
It's
The man
been
said, I'm
signed,
telling
sealed,
you.
and delivered.
He said
Ah,
Wakele.
Leon.
Wait.
Yeah,
Hold on, hold on. Just about coming.
Who's going to stop you?
Leon.
Na me won kumia Leon tells you away baye. Ke ya away no.
Oh, Febini.
Won kumia.
Charlie.
Hey,
You know,
the guy
you
says the
see-
Europa League
you
is
see-
signed,
you see-
sealed, and delivered.
See, Manchester, don't do this. This is how one of my friends he started when Amorim was hired. Non-league treble. This is how he started.
Which one was that?
As in the win
FA
FA
Cup,
Cup, Carabao,
and then what-
Europa League, right here.
I don't even hear of no league trouble before.
You see, Ben,
This is
just
the first
quickly.
time. Yeah.
I remember Coach. So when Amorim came in,
Yeah.
he predicted, Coach. I think you've not
See what
forgotten
you want to say.
that that he expects. He said he expects that Amorim will lose not less than 15 games.
I said it here.
I remember he
you
said
did?
yes.
I
He
said
said
it
it.
here.
I thought
He
they
said it
said-
here, and he came to say it on Sunday to
I said that.
one of the
I
games when
expect him
he
to
appeared.
You struggle.
Yes, because the system is player specific, and he doesn't have those players.
But me, you see, my problem with this is let me just go on a little tirade before I go to the next person. Look, I have a problem with modern day coaches and this whole system behavior, right? Because
I agree.
what is this behavior where you come into a team and then you meet players that okay you didn't buy, then apparently don't fit into your system, and so for you
You
to
want
be
to
able
wi-
to be successful, you must wipe out
Bring-
the team of
yeah.
your predecessor and bring in a new team. Fair, that coach always compares it to Manchester City. That when their team was substandard, they
When Pep
but you
came,
see,
he
Manchester
bought- no,
City
but he
sacked-
didn't- wait,
He sacked.
No, but with
Pep.
City, did he do it with one season? He didn't do it one
No,
season.
listen.
Wait,
Let's
he
do
did
it
it in one
season.
season. He did it in one season.
He did it in one
Wait,
season.
Relax.
One
His
season.
first
Oh.
season in charge, they finished fourth. They went to the Champions League.
No, I'm
then
saying-
that off season, he
He
cleared
cleared all of them.
Christian, Bakary Sanya, and
And
those
so
guys.
he came to
and
work
he
with-
cleared Claudio Bravo and brought in Ederson.
So I'm saying that he
That,
came to
after
work-
that off
wait,
season,
so
he
are you-
won the league.
so
No.
are you guys telling
you are
me-
making
hold
a point for Amorim. Amorim has come. He's working with the players at his disposal.
Yep. He says they are not good enough.
In
Bring
Pep's
it.
time, he came. He was playing with Sanya and what?
But
So Pep gave them
Pep's
the
players he
opportunity to
wanted.
play.
I think Pep's first DM was Nigel De Jong. That's like the kind of DM he doesn't
I
like.
think De Jong had even
He
left.
left.
by
No,
that
he had
time.
left. Pep came in his first season.
Fernandinho
Sanya
was there,
Breku was number 2. Sanya Breku, Bakary
No,
Sanya.
was it Zabaleta? It
Zabaleta
was
was
Zabaleta.
and
Yeah,
Sanya
he
Breku.
played with
Then
Zab- he was-
Clichy Academy.
Yeah.
Then
So
Clichy and
he-
Kolarov.
So are you people saying
So
that?
he played with them. They were fourth. He sacked all of
so
them.
by next season, if Amorim brings in his team and they perform below expectations,
That's
then
why
let's-
you can go
and
in.
let's
Then
say-
sack him.
So, and you sack Amorim. So the next manager, are you going to hire somebody based on Amorim's coaching principles?
But you see,
are going to
but
hire
you see,
somebody
even
completely
these
different?
things that we are saying that will sack all these players, United are saying they don't have money. This is what
No, you see, look at it. Evans, Lindelof,
free
transfer.
transfer.
The Ericsson,
Maguire,
Maguire, Casemiro, they have
Rashford,
But they first
Rashford.
Maguire.
Sancho.
Anthony, Sancho. You see, the problem is that look, Sancho and Rashford and players when They were not replaced though. So that, in terms of squad depth, it's a huge disadvantage. So when you look at, you see that you analyze all these things.
If they don't,
you clearly see that minimum 9-10 players will have to leave the team.
hey,
Yes.
in one summer.
Yes, that's the way it
No,
is, because
you see-
about 7 of them contract expired.
There's contract expiries.
Right.
There's all of
They
these
replace.
issues. But you see, my whole issue with all these players that we are saying are going to leave and things, we've seen Manchester United in the market so many times that this player is coming, this player is coming. They don't get the player, and I'm wondering whether
All they need is 250 million.
coach, they don't have that.
They have
Based
that.
on what the
If
owner is saying,
Glazers and that single-digit billionaire man cannot provide 200,
But they said they don't have it.
No, but if you cannot provide that,
I
for
think
Amorim,
they are hoping
then
to
sack
sell-
then sack the man. Because at the end
I
of the
think
day,
they are hoping to
have to
sell
sell
players.
before.
yeah, you some
But you
will
see-
go, money will come. Then you add a
but you
little.
see, Man U themselves, the way they've handled their players, they've diminished their value.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like how?
If
I
this
agree.
whole thing around Rashford and this, you've diminished his value.
You'll not be able to
we
sell
have-
him for how
How
much?
much is he?
Like 40 million.
That is what is in the contract. Aston Villa, if they want Rashford, they pay
And I'm
45
saying
million.
that when Rashford was there,
Ah,
if
man,
a team had
Wassan,
come,
Wassan.
they would not have gotten 40. They
Yeah,
could have
Wassan.
gotten more for him.
For him.
No,
First.
Rashford.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Aston Villa.
Sancho,
And me, my
Sancho,
whole-
million
Sancho will come back.
And-
You sell
and see,
it.
my whole point is
Rashford 45, Sancho 25 from Chelsea. If you add 45 to, how much is that one? If you add
45 plus
70
25.
million.
But you
70.
see,
Anthony will bring like 40, 110.
Real Betis do not have 40 million money.
Nobody's buying that
Betis,
money.
listen, Real Betis is not the team after Antonio. They are better team after Antonio as we speak. Atletico Madrid and co, they are all after Anthony now because they've seen that the Spanish league is better for him. So you, let's say Anthony, one quarter.
20.
Let's say 30 million.
Let's say 30 million.
Let's say 30
That is
million.
100 million right
Million,
there.
Real
I
Betis.
don't
So
see
Real Betis, Anthony 30.
You see,
Oh.
the reason why I just
Hold on.
I'm coming. Ace,
Let's say you have a transfer kitty of 100 already.
Glazers,
And then 100.
and then Ratcliffe. They cannot raise 150 million. We'll drive them out of it.
But you see, even this, even all of this
Mm.
account number, it won't work because all these players. And let me explain: all these players on high wages outside the Premier League, unless you are selling to other Premier League teams, they are not going to pay this high fee and this high wage for a player they are not
In
sure
fact,
about.
that's why a lot of these players have not left the team.
Yes,
because
because-
United have been trying to drive out some of these players for like at least 2-3
all
seasons.
the players that have not left, as we speak, contract.
Yeah, but the contract. But if the
Contract
contract,
is
if you let
finished.
them go on a free, you don't get anything as well. So why are you going to
I
get their
just
money?
mentioned 3 automatic sell.
But-
Sancho is a dandy. Rashford is a dandy.
Okay.
Now you see Unai
That-
Emery is
that-
smiling. Anthony is a
See,
dandy.
that's 80 million at best. I won't lie.
Oh,
to
he's
you.
100 million.
I don't
You know
think
you-
I don't think you are going to get Anthony. You think you are going to get 30 million for him?
So Rashford 45, Sancho 25. How much is that?
No, 20.
No, it's in the contract that is 25 million.
But
How much?
right now,
That is
Chelsea
70
are saying
million.
that they want
They
to
don't
pay
want
5 million. They don't want
They don't
him.
want him.
So they'll find a new buyer for him.
And that's what I'm saying
And
because
who
of
is
his
going to
wage
buy?
and because of his wages.
See,
And
if they pay the 5 million, Sancho will get somebody to pay 20 million, take him away. So that 25 there is
so
there.
me, I feel like this whole he'll get his players and things. It's not as given as we are saying it.
It
And
is, it's
if
true.
and
That's
if
true.
we get players that they are not suitable, are we going to come here and now say, and he wanted this player,
And
but
you
they
know
got him
how-
this
we get
player,
there.
and what?
you
what-
do
Do
like
you know how
Dodo.
many players he needs actually?
How many?
He needs a maximum of 5, in my view.
maximum?
Yeah,
In,
maximum
in,
of
in
5.
which specify
In
the
the first-
position so I can move on.
He needs a Victor Osimhen,
Okay, one.
a typical goal scorer.
One.
2, he needs 2 proper, one right wing back.
Okay.
Because they have Dogu already.
You have Dogu on this side. Then he needs another midfielder who will
What type of midfielder?
Of course, somebody who complement the likes of
Ugarte.
So a
Then he needs-
controller,
So that's 3. Yes, a controller. That's
Okay.
3. Then he needs 2 defenders.
centre backs or centre back.
Anybody who can fit in the back 3. 2
Fair.
defenders. Finish.
Let-
And
but
Maguire
you
is
see,
saying,
the-
Maguire is
but
there.
you see,
No, but
part of
it's
the
as
reason-
of Maguire.
I think Maguire has extended.
They've
Yeah.
extended his contract
Yeah,
by
by
1
1 year.
year. So Evans and Lindelof needs to be replaced.
All I'm saying is that the way the market is, I don't think that even these 5 they'll get.
Yes,
No, no,
no, no,
it's not.
I don't think
I don't think
that's
have
the
an
case.
issue.
It's-
What is the problem?
no, we are doing analysis. I don't
My
think it's
point is
sentiment.
that I don't think the way United have been behaving about their finances, I don't think there's money to spare, and in the way you think, and I don't think that the sales will be as well as you think. That's my only
No, but-
disagreement.
so do you sincerely think that Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe cannot put 150 million on the table?
They don't sound like they have 150
No,
million
even
to put on
last
the
year.
table.
last
Coach,
season.
Well,
they said they didn't have.
I'm not saying that they can't.
I need to move on from
I'm
this.
saying that they don't sound like they can.
I listened to Jim Ratcliffe. Jim Ratcliffe says that he's taking all these austerity measures so they can spend in the
That is
summer.
it. He said it.
Let's see if
He's
that's what
asking
happens.
people left, right,
So
center.
the guy is saying that the club is running out of. So me, that's what I'm saying. That
when you take Rashford off the wage with the wage bill, Sancho off the wage bill,
That's almost 600,000.
Lindelof off
no,
the
no, I don't
You see,
disagree.
if the wage bill now will be trimmed down, you don't need to go. The only star player who walk in this team who taking over £200 is either Victor Osimhen or Jokeres. I mean, Mofia Mon 80,
all
20,
I'm
20,
saying
60.
is that the thing just doesn't sound as straightforward as we are making it. That's all.
Fair game. Let me talk to you on the Man City side. De Bruyne leaving, just tie it all into this game for us.
Oh wow. For me, I think Man City will edge this game. I think they win it, because look, the Man United wing back situation, particularly on the right side, where Jeremy Doku will be lined up likely. He going up against Diogo Dalot. Diogo Dalot.
Mazwari.
No, Mazwari will be playing a little bit deeper, because I doubt they'll start
Maybe on the
Harry.
left side of the back three.
Yeah, I doubt they'll start
on the right
side, but
so
I
when
doubt.
you go past Dalot, Mazwari is waiting
But
for
he's played him there before.
But in that situation, that means you are overcompensating on that side. You leave gaps in the middle, and you know what happens with Manchester United's positioning. Looking at how Casemiro is quite limited covering ground, and you overly burden Manuel Ugarte. That means you are having a situation where you can easily get overrun in the middle, and Savinho is also on the opposite side. So all these issues, I look at it and I honestly do not see Man United beating Man City. I think their best will be a draw, despite the fact that Erling Haaland won't play.
we beat them the first leg. Nobody gave us any chance.
But the thing is,
beat them convincingly.
yeah, that's true. But the thing is, with this Man United team, you just never know the team that will show up. It's the same with Man City. But at least with Manchester City, I know that Mamouche is looking quite settled. Savinho is looking quite settled. And
Even Kuzanov is looking pretty decent.
Oh, now but they back 2 goals.
and so I look at all these factors and I look at this issue. Nico Gonzalez, I almost forgot about him.
He's not Rodri.
And he's not Rodri, but
Gonzalez.
at the end of the day, Man City defenders can have all the confidence in the world to push up than they've had over the past 4 or 5 months, because not Rashford. Rasmus Højlund is woefully out of form, and his confidence is shot. Even after he scored that goal against Leicester City, it looks like he's still not back, and it looks like he's still not that guy.
We are the same.
Zexi has picked up form, but when you look at him play, he can beat his man. He does a few beautiful flicks and tricks and all, and he's able to hold on to the ball. But when he's able to hold on to the ball, he gives it to Bruno Fernandes. He's looking for someone to pass the ball to, because Zexi isn't the fastest player who can drop the ball off and quickly run into space or pick up a position behind the opposing team's line for him to be a target. So it's all about Højlund. And Højlund, even the timing of his runs are off. And so with a guy who is who should be the main goal scoring outlet, out of form and out of confidence for the most part, he having issues, Garnacho also struggling fairly, you struggle to score. And I don't see where the goals are coming from for Manchester United. Even on the flip side, at least Man City, you know that they are a scoring threat when it comes to set pieces.
United have scored 37 goals and conceded 41. 8!
You get it?
Minus
So-
4 goal difference.
Minus
Like,
4.
how can you be living your life like this?
So I even look at it this way. And
What you don't know is that, you see, when it comes to a derby, all these things doesn't count.
I know.
Which
It
is fair.
doesn't count.
Which
I
is
know.
fair.
And we are considered more goals. We went to Etihad, we beat them there.
and
It doesn't count.
you see, and that's when some instances like what happened in the Nottingham Forest game comes in. That's when the players they have their issues they need to sort out. But I've seen this happen under Solskjaer. I saw it happen under Eric Ten Hag, and I saw it this past week, just this past few days, under Amorim, with that goal that Man United conceded against Nottingham Forest. Look, you are looking to score from a corner kick, but you need to set up your team to be able to defend in case you lose the possession from that corner kick. And who were the players that they put out there playing against this Nottingham Forest team that is filled with fast wingers? They put Mazraoui in there. They put Garnacho in there. And there was another player, I can't quite remember.
It was Dogu.
Dogu.
The three of them they should have dealt with.
Dogu.
Ilanga. This one is not good. The coach had a proper plan for that occasion, or for that sort of transition. It was the players who failed to deal with the guy. Because why he picked the ball from one person standing, just foul him there. 3 players. Ekebole just one time.
But why? But how would you allow? No, seeing that on the field of play, why didn't Amorim react in time to be able to sub one of those players with one of the fastest players that Man United has?
Started 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
You get
How
it?
can you do
No,
that?
because we need to. You are setting up your team
So yeah,
to ensure.
are you telling me that Man United had the corner? The corner at the back there was Mazraoui, Dogu,
all of them, their pace is average at best.
And Garnacho.
and Garnacho.
You remember I've highlighted
It's
Garnacho's
not
speed.
about pace at best. These 3 players
Should be able to do
what
the
they
problem.
failed to do. One of them should have gone man marking because Ilanga was the only outlet. So one person stands on him directly. You struggles with him before he gets control. Somebody picks it up. The players were just not
But-
smart enough. That's why we have to sell most of them.
I will. That too. But for me, like I've said, the Amorim should have been able to do better in that situation. Once, with what coach highlighted, you could have instructed your players to get a bit closer to Elanga because Nottingham Forest score on the counter attack for the most part, and they not being able to position themselves and react in time to prevent that goal from going in. Yeah, that's on the coach and that's also on the players. But for me, yes, I've already touched on the Man City winning that derby. Kevin De Bruyne, I'll rank him as the second greatest midfielder in the history of the PL. I'll rank him behind Steven Gerrard. And yes, Steven Gerrard didn't win the PL, but I look at what he had to deal with Liverpool and what he was able to do consistently for a decade.
What did he have to deal with?
Sleeping.
Playing with Dosena.
Did I put the banana on the
No. Well, he
So
played with
he played for
Dosena.
a team that could win the Champions League but couldn't win the league.
I mean,
Oh,
that's
okay.
a tournament.
Okay.
You know the tournament is
Okay.
different from a league format.
All right.
I
I
know
mean,
it's different.
yeah, it's
but
different.
It that shows that you have requisite quality to challenge for the league.
No.
But they weren't doing it.
We saw the circumstances.
When he had the chance to win the league, he went and slept.
We saw the circumstances that led to their win in Istanbul. And Ancelotti is considered one of the greatest managers of all time. With all those great players that he had, how many league titles did he win at AC Milan?
And that's
But
why that's why he's not AC Milan's greatest coach.
How many Champions League titles did he win? Different formats, different tournaments, and so the circumstances are quite different. I will put Kevin De Bruyne as the second greatest midfielder in EPL history, behind Steven Gerrard, because aside Luis Suarez once in a while, then Fernando Torres once in a while that he played with, who were top class, absolute top class players. For the most part, he played with average, mediocre players for the most part, and he still was able to excel.
If you name a few of them.
Oh, I gave you Dosena, and I gave you Dosena. He was playing with this Spanish chap, Albert Riera and co. And he was still excellent and world class for a decade. And you look at Kevin De Bruyne, he was also world class for a decade, but the quality around him, it was just so immense, and it plays a role in your productivity or your production. That's why I always maintain that, look, put Bruno Fernandes in any of the, say, Alex Ferguson teams, and his stats will be ×3, because he will be passing to prime Dwight York, he will be passing to prime Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham and company. Now he's passing to a developing Zexi, a developing Rasmus Højlund, a washed up version of Edison Cavani. That's who he played with. The latter part of Cristiano Ronaldo's career, which is still good though, but it's not prime Cristiano Ronaldo. The same thing with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. These are the players that he's played with, but you put him in that Alex Ferguson teams where he's playing with all these quality players, he wouldn't be talked with such disrespect as most people talk about him with.
Fair.
And so for me, I put all that
De Bruyne,
into context, and yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, absolute great, but I'll put him behind Steven Gerrard in terms of the greatest midfielder in EPL history.
I want to know how listeners and viewers on YouTube rate Premier League midfielders. Where does De Bruyne rank for you guys among Premier League midfielders as far as all-time greats? I want to really just know that. I'll be taking messages on that. 0549 986 996. It's Sports Panorama here on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a lot more about Arsenal and where they could possibly finish. Chelsea also looking like they can do a few things. I like Forest. Like I've told you, this season I'm part Liverpool, part Nottingham Forest. I'm enjoying their campaign so far. So we'll talk a lot more about that. We'll touch on some boxing and also the Accra Sports Stadium closer before we take the show home. Stay with us here on Sports Panorama. We'll be right back.
Citi 97.3.
Accra. Football's magic never fades, even from the couch. The sound of halftime banter. Replays at the touch of a button. Sharing with my chosen crew. Pure game magic. It's like I'm there, but with a better view from the comfort of my home. Priceless. From the March 3rd to April 30th, pay with your MasterCard, online or in-store, and stand a chance to win a unique priceless viewing experience of the UEFA Champions League final for you and your friends. MasterCard, proud supporter of non-stop fans. T's and C's apply.
Citi 97.3.
Accra.
Let me read a few messages that have been coming in. So that KDB debate happens to have sparked a lot of things. Let me read some comments from our YouTube community. And again, let me say apologies for the sound quality and the inconsistencies. We are working on it to make it as great as possible. So please do bear with us. Let me read the messages coming in from YouTube. Let me start from the bottom. So Charlie, you guys, they talk. Somebody here says that this clout that they always put on Gerrard, I often don't understand. How can someone say Steven Gerrard is greater than De Bruyne in terms of what? That's from Bismarck Dankwa. Bismarck, you have a very legit argument. People will struggle to tell you why. I personally, hold on. Oh, you've made your argument.
Versatility
In what?
Kevin De Bruyne can play as an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
He can play as a central midfielder and as a box-to-box midfielder, more or less.
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard, couldn't he play all those positions?
Yeah. But versatility doesn't make you greater. I mean, just my opinion. I'm just saying.
And you are playing with Riera.
I'm a Liverpool guy. I don't think Gerrard is greater than De Bruyne. That's just me.
My whole
That's
argument
just
is
me.
that if you are talking about the greatest player in the league,
Yeah.
the minimum is you have to win the league at least once.
Yeah. I think so.
That's
too.
a clear disqualification from being there.
I think
it means
so
that
too.
the highest you can get is second.
I think so
It
too.
means your ceiling is second.
A couple of people here. This one here, David Ampofu says Bruno Fernandes to Man City. Here we go. I don't know what you are doing. I'm sure he's touching some funny stuff over there. David Ampofu says Mamus would definitely score against United. This one's from Spencer Ashiboy. Says, yeah, a player should have just taken a yellow card. Okay, and prevented the goal. I think you're talking about that same
just foul him
sequence.
and then stop.
Kwabena Boateng says Garnacho is the fastest player in the team, and Dogu too. They just failed to deal with the situation.
That's all.
That's a very slow team.
It's not a coaching thing.
Somebody says, Saddam says midfielders, so many types of midfielders. Let's be specific with the rating. Honestly, I don't agree with that. If
It's
you
a
are,
midfielder,
I can't come
No,
and
see-
now do
no, see-
defensive
defensive
midfielders,
midfielder,
attacking midfielders,
It's a
box to
midfielder.
box mid. I
Of
don't.
course,
Nobody has that type.
No, you have to do that because if you don't do that, then you are not situating the argument properly.
Oh.
If you take Kevin De Bruyne and put him in that Makaleli role.
No, but then then it means that you can't even compare
I'm
Scholes
coming.
and Gerrard.
No, I'm coming. No, Scholes and Gerrard at some point.
I thought
in time-
Scholes was a number 6 for
No.
most part. 6 and
So
then 8.
Scholes
mostly was
more
a number
about
8.
Yeah.
Gerrard mostly was an 8. You understand?
But
you can
different
put
type
them.
of 8,
Lampard
'cause there's the
was the
Xavi-
one who played as an 8 and as a 10 at the
But
time.
you see, there's the Xavi 8,
You understand?
and
Yeah.
there's the Gerrard 8.
8.
You understand?
You understand?
Scholes
And
was
Scholes more like the
Xavi
Xavi 8. than so you need to see what
Situate
put-
that
But
guy.
he scores his style. I think part of the reason why he scores, I think if Scholes played for a Milan or a Barca or something like that, he would be rated higher.
No, he's the only English player.
Who
Those
plays
three
like-
midfielders.
Yeah.
He's the only one who could
Fair,
walk into
fair.
those.
But you see, because they also don't have that style in England, it made him look bad. Because the national team, he had a lot of issues with the national
No,
team.
it's
of
because
that.
they felt that he was too good as a player, and he's the only player they could adjust. The rest couldn't do the
I
adjustment.
think also is what they expect of a midfielder.
Nana
It's a cultural thing, honestly.
Oh, Nana Ajimano says KDB is number 3, Gerrard number 2, Paul Scholes number 1. Hey, Paul Scholes, greatest CM in the PL.
The titles are
Charlie,
there.
the
titles are
the
there to
titles went
justify
from
that.
he won.
Not just-
He won tag team.
He didn't win all by himself. He was
He
not
won
a
tag
he was not a
team.
Oh, it's
goalkeeper.
like, I think it's Giggs who won 30.
Yeah, he won 11 or
He
12.
was not a right back. He was not a
No,
goalkeeper.
no,
He's
but at
just
the
one
end of
player.
the day, he won that match.
That's fair.
I mean, you.
But he's still not the PL's greatest CM. That one I won't agree. I won't
No.
let that propaganda pass on this show.
No.
Anyway, let me talk to Mr. Ofe on Arsenal and Everton. Good game at Goodison Park. David Moyes, my guy, is in the dugout.
Hardest guy, Moyes. I think I expect a reaction from Everton. Since Moyes took charge of the team, I think I've seen some very good transformation of how Everton do play.
Yep.
And today I even asked Susu about this, that
Has he lost? I don't think he's lost. Wait, he's lost.
no, before he lost this game against
Liverpool.
Liverpool,
He hadn't lost.
it was
And then
4 games. They went on 4 games and he drew a lot of them.
Yeah, they drew all 4 actually.
All 4, yes.
2-2
And even
United.
before the all 4, they were on a very good
They had, so they had won 4 on a bounce and
Yeah.
then went on a 4-game draw
good.
streak.
So, and that's a major improvement from where he
Major,
took off
major.
the team. And one thing I'm really impressed with is the transformation of their player Beto. Because look, before Moyes, he was very, very awful.
In Tebe Pro Max.
Proper in TB.
Hey.
And clearly, I think that the system Moyes has brought to Everton has some way somehow helped. Look, Arsenal will look at this tie and say, it's an easy tie. It's not. Everton themselves I think they are above the red zone. They are not really flirting with relegation. But
Yeah.
I think that they would want to respond after that loss to Liverpool. If you watch that Liverpool game clearly, there was a proper game plan from Moyes, which was just to sit deep. Of course, he knew that Liverpool would have a large share of the possession. Liverpool would see more of the balls. And their plan was to just rely on Beto. And if you look at that chance that he missed, that was just it was just a lucky chance.
Yeah.
You get it? And I think that test against Arsenal will be very difficult, especially at the Goodison Park. One of the grounds where, ever since he came in, that's where he's chalked major success or major point. Arsenal have got Bukayo Saka back. And, I mean, the Arsenal supporters will look at the return of Saka as a huge boost. I think for Arteta himself, will look at that. He's kept on doing the Mikel Merino thing. It's worked for him. But I think this is a ground where they would have to deal with breaking a very compact Everton side. Won't be that easy. And on the part of Everton, it's just one thing to do. We know that Arsenal would play a lot of these balls. One thing on our part is to just capitalize on the chances we get, the counter attacks. So I'm looking forward to a very, very tight game. I don't see Arsenal winning. I think this game, it's more of like a goal scoring draw or win on the part of Everton for me at the Goodison.
Goal scoring draw or
A win.
at Everton.
Yeah.
Interesting. Arsenal Everton early kickoff, 11:30. Early kickoff, nyame. Anyway, let me see. There's a good game I like too. Let me come back to coach on that side of this one. Villa, Nottingham Forest. That's our last game for Saturday. Villa, Nottingham Forest. Really good game if you ask me. Both teams having an absolutely great season, especially Nottingham Forest. Now, Villa win this game, they could go all the way up to 5th. So, game with a lot of incentive for them. Nottingham Forest win this one, and they could be 1 point behind Arsenal.
For Villa to win, they need to score first. Nottingham Forest have couched a certain tactical image for themselves. Is that they will sit back, counter, and get a goal. When they are the team to score first, what they will then do to you is to suck you in and then go and punish you. Look at all the games they've won. We saw them do that at Liverpool. They did the same thing at Old Trafford. They did the same thing to United again. So in the big games, to get them to lose the game, you need to score first against Nottingham Forest. Villa themselves are playing some good stuff of late. They are free flowing, but they have to be very, very careful. They are also the team that tend to play freely, but they tend to give a lot of chances to away. If you look at the game they play against Brighton in midweek, yes, they won that game by 3-0, but Brighton themselves were a bit wasteful. If they were very clinical, the story would have been very different. So it's a Nuno Espirito has got players who understand his system, and he's playing to their strength. You watch the way he played against United. The moment they scored that goal, every substitution he made was to get them to be more and more defensive and more compact. That is what, if you are Unai Emery, you need to avoid. You need to stop that from happening. You need to force Nuno to do the things that he doesn't want to do or he's not comfortable doing as a coach. As a coach, he is very, very comfortable when his team is that compact and solid in midfield and defensively. So when they have to abandon their strength and go to do things that will expose them, then you can go and... We saw them lose heavily. Was it to... is it Bournemouth?
It was Bournemouth, yeah.
We saw them lose.
Forest.
Yes.
Yes, the Bournemouth.
You understand?
I think 3-0.
Yeah.
4-5.
Bournemouth scored first. And the moment Bournemouth scored
Him
first,
and they're like 5-0.
they had to do the things that they are not used to doing. So it's about Unai Emery seeing the fact that they will be the home team. It is on their tape. They need, as well, Nottingham Forest. If you look at their games left, you think they will definitely make the Champions League. It will be a miracle from the way they've played.
And it'll be a big letdown for themselves.
Yeah, to throw away such a huge advantage that they've got. So yes, they will stay. It will still not change their position in the league if they were to lose. But if Villa were to win, then clearly they are putting themselves in the mix for Champions League football. They are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League already, and they want to go back because they are enjoying it, or they've enjoyed the campaign so far. So why not? Let's go do it again. Because we've got a manager who knows how to play this sort of competition. So let's go. So I think I will fancy Villa
to win this,
provided they score.
It's a cagey game. So talk to me about Brentford Chelsea. Now Chelsea, once upon a time, looked like they would contend for a title or at least be sure money for a top 4 spot.
We are not in a title race.
Now they are fighting for their lives to remain in the top 4 because everybody behind them is literally chasing 47, 48, 50, 51, 52. That's what it looks like from 4th up until 8th.
Chelsea now, I believe nearly everyone is back, right? There's
not
no
everyone. No, everyone.
Lavia is not back.
It was Lavia.
He's barely played safe.
We'll talk about that whole matter.
Fair enough. Lavia has not really been around, but okay. So Lavia is not around.
Scam.
So more or less
the key players who started the season.
So more or less everyone is back.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking that Chelsea can look a bit better, a bit decent.
Wesley Fofana too is not back.
He's
another player who's also he's never been around.
He's not around a lot, but okay. So basically, aside from the guys who are nearly always hit, the team is there.
Yep.
So for me, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't like Chelsea's backline. I think the whole Robert Sanchez.
And look at the fixtures to finish the season. So
thank you. Go through that.
It's Brentford at home. They play Ipswich. They play Fulham. Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle, United, and Forest to finish.
That's a very
Liverpool. So listen to this. Everton. So even the Fulham game is tricky.
Yeah,
Fulham, Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle, United, and Forest. That is as difficult as the end of the season.
They'll be lucky to get 9 points from those games. Seriously, they'll be lucky to get 9 points. And the worst part is a lot of those teams are also thinking about Europe because even Fulham have an outside chance
of making it to at least a conference league.
Yeah, so that's a very tough run of games. And I'm looking at them now, the way the back line is shaky. Robert Sanchez back at number 1 now?
Yeah. He's back. He's been close for the last 2 games.
But you see, that's the problem. The fact that in the middle of the season, the coach is not sure that someone is number 1.
It's not even in the middle of the season. No, I think it was just some recently.
But you get what my point is.
When he said he's not now, he's not.
You can't start a season. You give a guy 20 games, then you just get up and decide that this guy is not good enough. Let's bring someone else. the fact that they loaned Chaloba out, brought him back, everything about that back line does not inspire confidence. And you look at Brentford, you don't know what you get with Brentford in the sense that they are a solid team. So with Mbeumo, Johan Wissa, and even Kevin Shade, he's playing a lot better now.
Yeah.
They have dangerous players. Damsgaard is looking a bit more like the player we saw at Euro 2020.
Top 3 in assists this season.
Exactly. So there's some decent attacking players there for sure. So it makes you wonder that, look, if Brentford have a good game, and Brentford are, Brentford, they have their style, they are solid, they try and hit you on the counter. And Chelsea are so slow, they are ponderous the way they play. It's just not a good matchup for them.
Let me throw a question to Chelsea fans out there. Guys, do you guys want to continue with Enzo Maresca next season? I mean, sacking Poch, bringing Maresca in. Have you been happy with what you've seen enough to say he's the guy to take us to next season? I just want to know what Chelsea fans think.
Just to finish on Chelsea, I think it seems like either Cole Palmer is tired, he's out of form, or teams have figured him out. Because this calendar year 2025,
the dip has been too long.
I think he has 1 goal and 2 assists or something like that in
For
20.
In fact, he scored all his goals and his assists in
His
the first
recent
quarter
assist,
of the season, and
That's
then
what
he
I
went
mean.
to bed.
In 2025,
Yeah.
the calendar year, you have like maybe let's say even 2 goals, 2 assists. That's what Bruno Fernandes has in his last 2 matches, last 3 matches. Sorry. So when I think about it like that, nothing about this Chelsea team inspires confidence. Then we don't know how sharp Nicolas Jackson is going to be. We've seen Jadon Sancho; he's not doing anything. So I just don't like the way this Chelsea team is set up. And then when I look at the tough games they have and the way they are playing, I don't think we should consider them for the top 4.
This game at least, prediction for this one.
They are playing Brentford
Brentford at home. Brentford at home in this one.
Brentford at home.
Yep.
That's a difficult game for them. I think this looks like a draw.
Draw.
But I would say Chelsea are still slight favourites, or because they have the better players for sure. And the thing, sometimes Brentford are very flat, but I don't expect this to be an easy game for Chelsea. I'll be surprised if they walk out with a 2-0, 3-0.
Chelsea haven't had any easy games.
I'll be very surprised.
Yeah. Let me read messages. A lot have been coming in. This one says Sancho Anthony, Garnacho Xerxes Delict. United should raise 250 from the sale of the above. With 300 and 350 million, they could easily be replaced. Why are you getting? You were just throwing figures around. This one says Doku Die, Adama Pro Max, Wasa. Coach is having a dream whilst the team owners don't have that dream. United won, City won. This will be the most boring derby. Pep's divorce issues have caused his team to play like Otoado. KDB has to have his statue outside the Etihad. He's been amazing. EL from Koforidua. This one says, Mohammed from Adabraka says, Ben, I'm enjoying the program. Just to remind Coach that last season, Man City actually beat United home and away. Just to remind you. Yep. Ten Hag actually lost at Old Trafford. I remember that, actually. Citizen Sika Togo from UG says, our coach always defending poor performances of Ten Hag and Amorim is becoming too much. The team is not that bad for the performances we show up with consistently. The tactics are all over the place, and the coach must adapt if he is to stay beyond next
He
season.
will not adapt. So just back him. Finish. Why did you bring him? He was coaching, so we went
to bring him. Yeah. Coach Kojo from Abelink says, please tell coach that United must sell Onana too. You agree?
I think it's a move.
You don't come here.
I will sanction.
This one here says that Scholes. This one says Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, KDB. Kwame Dan at DC. That's your ranking. Okay, so Scholes tops. You are a United fan, I know. This one here says, guys, Elisha from Insakina. I rank KDB behind Lampard, so he takes second place. You are a Chelsea fan too, I know. It says, please, I lost my mom last month, so may her gentle soul continue to rest in peace. We commiserate with you, and may her soul rest in peace. Anyway, this one here is from Kobe from Dome. It says, this is all stats for a midfielder. Just check the assist and goal contribution. What is he out saying? He should bring the stats for Gerrard. We are talking about stats. You are talking about why and who they had to deal with. KDB's goal contributions is 280 matches in 188. I think that's what I'm trying. I don't know if it's goal contributions. I think that's what I'm saying.
You see, you've always known me for saying that I look beyond statistics. Look, Lukaku has 400 career goals. That's more goals than Ronaldo and Maradona combined. Are you saying Lukaku is better than Ronaldo?
I think you've made your point.
Charlie, we should.
I think you've made your point.
Watch the game, so for real.
I think you've made
and someone is coming at me for saying that Gerrard didn't play with great players, and he started mentioning Anarisa, Kiwell, Jibril Cisse, Milan Barrios, Fowler, Zenden, Babel, the Kite. The only two players that he played with that are excellent players, but he didn't play with them for long though. Mascherano and Xabi Alonso. Aside Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres.
But you see, this list is even brought is making Yau's point.
He's even giving credence to Yau's point. Anyway, this one here says
but I want to say something about the stats thing for KDB, even Lukaku.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying Lukaku is an all-time striker, but actually 400 goals no small.
You know the funny thing?
Let's respect him small.
I feel Lukaku went and destroyed his career at the place where careers go to die. That place, the Red Pit. That's the place. That's the place he went to destroy his career. Lukaku as a youngster,
Chelsea.
He was
returning
great.
to Chelsea. That was where he killed his career.
That
was where he killed his career because he won the league with Inter Milan. He won back to Chelsea. He buzzed that league.
I think
then he moved to Chelsea.
But after that interview, he was never the same again.
But the Lukaku disrespect started at United.
When they were putting Timberlands on him, and
when he was, people were saying because of a first tattoo. People were saying
even coach brought up the size of his boots and stuff.
People were saying
I didn't talk about Luka, that was Maguire.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But let's be fair. Actually, 400 goals. No, the guy has like 80 goals for Belgium and
as for me,
like let's respect him
for
small.
me,
I'm not going to say that he's a top player, but let's respect him
he's a
small.
top striker. If you have 400 goals, nobody can tell you anything. I'm telling you. If you retire with 400 career goals, nobody can chat anything.
And
nobody.
But the stats thing, Charlie KDB second in assists. The only person who has more is Ryan Giggs.
I say there's no
Ryan
way
Giggs
Gerrard
played how many?
I say Gerrard is not a better midfielder than KDB.
With more games.
Ryan
So
Giggs
with more
has-
games.
Look, people like to be sentimental. I'm a Liverpool fan at heart. Gerrard is not a better player than KDB. As far as Premier League, it's not true. Don't do this to yourself. It's not true. Let's not do this. Anyway, this one says the notion that Gerrard played in a bad team sometimes is funny. Check the Liverpool squad between 04 and 7. Their midfield compared to that of Chelsea and United weren't that huge. He simply didn't lead his team to glory like Lampard did at Chelsea.
Their teams were
Top
worse.
class,
That one day,
top
let's
class
not do
midfielders
this.
were signed in that team
That
also.
one day.
He still bossed that team. Gerrard at some point had Alonso and Mascherano beside him. Had Torres and the Kite. The Kite, no Nadia, don't bring him. What was he better than Lampard? Sutton from Sakatu from Luton. Okay. This one here says that good evening Citi FM. I'm John from Adabraka. Rankings in midfield: Gerrard, Lampard, Kante, KDB. My honest opinion. Charlie Kante has appeared in the discussion.
He didn't last long.
Yeah,
That's why Yaya Toure is not in that list.
True.
Because
true.
he didn't last long at the elite.
Easily would have been
level.
in the mix.
Yeah.
Kante 3 or 4 more seasons would have been arguably in the conversation.
If we don't sit with the argument properly,
Good.
we'll be so unfair to some of these players. What N'Golo Kante did,
He didn't do it long enough.
I'm coming. If it's about how long, it's a different argument.
Okay.
If we are talking about how effective and efficient the player was
At
doing
his
his
job,
time,
Then we
at
should
his
say.
job,
Then we should say
then
in their
clearly-
prime.
Yeah, of course. Then clearly, you cannot be comparing KDB to N'Golo Kante to KDB. Now, if you want to do the comparison, look, in my view, the best box-to-box midfielder I have ever seen in the EPL is Yaya Toure.
Easily, I agree.
Nobody.
I agree.
So if we don't sit with that, you say I've kept quiet on the matter.
I feel like
I'm thinking through my nose.
I
feel
also
like-
want to say something
Yeah.
about this argument. There's two ways people argue this, and
Okay.
this is where the discussion comes in. You can argue about when you say best. Like let me give a good example of Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo's last 3 seasons in the PL is probably the best 3 years anyone has played in the PL. Right? That one there's no argument about it. But if you are saying you are ranking someone in
The
the
first time around.
Yes, the first.
that his those 3 years,
Yes.
his first
When he ended up winning the
thank you,
Ballon d'Or.
Thank you for
At
clarifying.
Man
So
United.
let me say 2006 to 2009. That 3 year spell is probably the best 3 year spell anyone has played in the PL,
Yeah.
right? But are we going to say that 3 year spell out is worth more than Ryan Giggs' 20-year career or whatever? Right? No, I'm just that's what I'm
just land with the best that
coming
comes in.
So I feel like sometimes when we have these arguments, some people in their head, because that 3 year spell is the best they've seen,
Yeah.
they'll put Ronaldo first. But some people, the way they see it,
They rank the whole
they
career.
are looking at the whole career. So I feel like a lot of the time, that's why these discussions are like people are bringing some people, and that's why the discussion never. Because I think we should clarify what are we actually measuring. Are we measuring the career like
Or prime.
or the prime?
Yeah.
We need to actually clarify what we are
I
measuring.
think we can do away with the career and the prime.
and talk about
the player.
the
In
footballer.
In the road, the footballer in the road.
I can see that too.
That is the way I would have argued it.
But then
because I don't think this Premier League has ever seen a better winger than Cristiano Ronaldo, in my view.
fair. Even though others have better numbers.
And played for longer.
That's it. That's what,
But you see,
the best box to box.
So that is why I say that, when it comes to
situate
it, let everybody argue it the way they see it.
But you see, I think
Me,
people should clarify
the
what they are
best
arguing
DM,
so
if
that
you're talking about
they can.
DM, I'll be looking at Joaquin, Vieira, Kante, and then Makelele. How do you rate them? Who comes first?
Fair. This is a very
And
So
now,
that
and
is
now
a
we
very
have, and now we have to add Rodri.
Yeah,
You definitely have to add Rodri.
Yeah.
You add Rodri to it. Now then you are arguing. But
I
if you open it up,
can't-
But you see, I'm
kind
saying
of agree.
that when people are arguing, they should mention that this is the criteria I'm using when they start.
Let me-
we can argue that, because if I come and say that Ryan Giggs is the best winger in the Premier League, and you come and say Cristiano Ronaldo, we are not arguing the same thing.
Fair.
Because there's no
Fair.
way that
I
if you put
get
them
what you
one
mean.
on one
I get what
as
you mean.
players,
I
you
get what you
take
mean.
Ryan Giggs.
But
But
consistency is
let me
also
bring
a-
the career. You take Ryan Giggs.
Let me read more.
Consistency is also a factor
factor.
that you have to consider when you are measuring the grades,
see,
because you cannot have like
Ronaldo-
you can just you,
if you
cannot have like
argue
a,
Giggs, you argue Giggs because Ronaldo left and went elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
but now
that's-
now if you not got of the two guys, who is the better?
But you see, that's the point I'm arguing, that when we have, but when you say we're having a PL discussion, who's the best
Then
in
we
the
have to
PL?
situate it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That if you are going
Prime
to do
or career.
yeah, that's what I'm
Fair.
saying. Sometimes you have to relax.
I'm making the point of consistency. Consistency is key, because you cannot have a flash in the pan kind of season
Two
or campaign,
seasons.
2 seasons, and you vanish.
Yeah.
And because your 2 seasons were so great, then
No,
we
no.
consider
You
you
will
as
vanish.
as the greatest.
Let me read. Let me
it's
read
not
that.
about vanishing. If you leave,
Let's
that's
listen to our viewers. A lot of them are sharing their
Okay,
thoughts.
sure.
Let's listen to them. So this one says, I don't think De Bruyne is the second all-time in the PL. Neither Gerrard being first. I'll put De Bruyne among the top 5, below Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard, and Toure. Bright from East Legon. There you have Yaya Toure. Yao Chris says, good evening, guys. I just didn't understand United on the match against Nottingham Forest though. Ejaya from North K says, Man United and Chelsea have nothing or little to show this season. They should just relax. Zoe from Boucher says, Lampard is the only player with 20 plus goals every season. Yaya Toure, De Bruyne, Essien, Stevie G. So this guy has Lampard number 1, Yaya Toure number 2, De Bruyne, Essien, and Steven Gerrard. Interesting. This one says, hi Ben. Yao has always been a Man City fan. His bias for them shows all the time. Yao is a United fan. He said, I won't even put KDB in my top 5. The greatest is between Lams and Yaya. Finish. This one here says that greatest EPL midfielders: Scholes, De Bruyne, Lampard, Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira. This is the most efficient list with proper facts. Tyrese from Ashoma. I shock say Tyrese they talk this. This one says Man City has found its momentum after those bad days. City 4, United 1. Raymond Decoder Tema Comty 4. Raymond again from Spintech says that Lampard, Gerrard, De Bruyne, and Kante. Okay. This one says, good evening, Ben and crew. I rank De Bruyne ahead of Gerrard as the greatest midfielder in the PL because Gerrard never won the Premier League. That's one from John Tay. Massa, Gerrard is not better than Roy Keane. Seto inside.
Hey, the Seth there is crazy.
Charlie,
Cool down.
It's not better. Charlie also.
There's no rocking.
Yeah,
This one says, okay, I think I've read this one already. This one says, hi Ben, I'm enjoying the show. Just remind coach that I think I've read this already as well. So this debate has really sparked a lot of interest. Anyway, let me just round it up with the fixtures and then we'll talk about something else. If more messages coming, I'll read those before we send the show home. So this one here says, there's a game between Palace and Brighton. Let me just take predictions on these ones. Let me start for you.
Palace Brighton.
Yeah, Palace are home in this one.
Big W.
Huge.
A goal scoring draw.
Goal scoring draw.
Yeah.
Investors are attentive.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, I'm backing my boys, the Eagles. The Eagles.
they are home. Selhurst Park. Yeah.
Nketsia has come to show them.
Oh yes, your defense is in trouble. Anyway, Ipswich Wolves.
When Tebe match this, Ipswich Wolves.
It's a relegation battle. It's a very serious game.
Ipswich Wolves.
Who's going?
No, Ipswich win.
Ipswich win.
Yeah. Ipswich Wolves, yeah, Ipswich win.
Yeah.
They
Ipswich
getting
at home, Portsmouth Road.
They getting that away win against Bournemouth. Nah, yeah, the confidence will be sky high. I'm going for Ipswich win.
Actually, so Wolves are 17th, Ipswich are 18th.
Yeah.
So it's Wolves. Ipswich need this win.
Yeah, Ipswich win.
They need
Ipswich
this win. Anyway, Susu do West Ham, AFC Bournemouth. West Ham are home.
Ghana derby.
Hey, Charlie, Bournemouth need to wake up.
Yeah, they have been in a slump in like the last 2-3 games.
Look, do you know they've not won a Premier League game since February 15th?
Hey,
It's serious.
like around Val's Day time.
Charlie, their love is gone. Charlie,
Bring back the love.
Bring back the love, Charlie. So they need to wake up. They need to wake up.
They are away though.
Oh,
But West Ham are poor.
Yeah, West Ham are not good, but you see, the Premier League is weird because there's a lot of teams in this stage of the season. So you're not relegated. You're not going for Europe. So like, you're sleepwalking.
Yeah.
So I think because West Ham are a bit of a sleepwalking mood, maybe that will help Bournemouth.
Bournemouth to win. Coach, prediction on Brentford Chelsea.
Brentford for the win. Brentford is at home.
Yeah.
Look, Chelsea themselves, they've got some decent away performances. Brentford of late,
But their best performances this season have been away.
Brentford of late have not been that solid at all.
True.
Look, I think Chelsea will nick it.
Chelsea to win. Narrow win. Susu, I'm coming back this way. Do Fulham Liverpool.
Fulham,
Craven Cottage.
Yeah, I'll say Liverpool.
You sound like it's a close win.
I don't think it's going to be an easy game for Liverpool
At all.
No.
At all.
I think Fulham gave them a lot of trouble the last
yep,
time, and Fulham are
yep.
a very decent
They
team.
are. They're always up for big games. Yeah. Spurs, Southampton.
Spurs for the win.
Spurs for the win. Manchester Derby.
Southampton, you have to always go against them.
Manchester Derby.
United to win. Yeah, United to win.
And then I'll come back to Yao.
Man City. For Manchester Derby?
No, you've already said that. Leicester, Newcastle. That's Monday.
Oh, Newcastle win.
Newcastle to win. Okay.
Alexander Isak.
I have a friend who told me that some investors watch and then they are listening to us and they
do their own thing.
do
eh?
their please.
Let me read a few.
At your own risk.
Let me read more of this midfield rankings from the YouTube. A lot of debate over there. So this one here says Zenica J says Coach Nimley has gone my way. I think he means that we should. I think what he agrees with the fact that you should separate the midfielders into different brackets. This one says up next says undiluted list: KDB, Lampard, Yaya, Scholes, Gerrard. Not a bad list at all, honestly. I can rock with this list, to be honest. But Gerrard over Scholes, definitely. I'm not taking Scholes over Gerrard. I'm not letting that happen. Anyway, Kwame Ohene Asari says Gerrard was either slipping or missing penalties. Joseph Aban says, I agree with what coach just said. Yaya Toure is the best box-to-box midfielder to ever exist. This one here is from Benjamin Dakwa. Says Kante won the league with drink water by him, Yao.
What?
He says N'Golo Kante won the league with drink water.
But that season, it was Drinkwater was in the form of his life. Jamie Vardy was in the form of his life, and on top of that, it was an outlier. Have we ever seen such a thing happen again?
So why can't Liverpool do an outlier?
Somebody called Catch These Hands says Massa forget Essien. Charlie, why are you doing that?
Charlie, have some national pride.
I shock.
And that's where my point comes in about the consistency, because Essien didn't do it for long because of his injuries.
Ebenezer Mankwa says if Bruno was in this Man City team, we could have delivered much more goal contributions than KDB. These are facts. He says if Fernandes played in City, he would have delivered more goal contributions.
I don't think so.
100%. I agree with him.
I agree because you know why? Not because he's a better footballer. He's a better goal scorer than De Bruyne. And I think he plays more risky passes than De Bruyne. In fact, I actually saw
why he will sit on the bench.
I actually saw a certain most chances since he actually arrived.
But
he has.
You see, I don't like that stat.
Why?
No, let me explain. Relax.
Let him explain.
Created chances is a pass leading to a shot.
Yeah.
Or a shot on target, whatever it is. If you say you've played the most since you arrived, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just means since you arrived, the number of games. This guy plays nearly every game. So if you say he's played the most, and you are comparing him to other people who may miss, and the main person you are comparing to is De Bruyne, who we know his fitness is not the same.
Fair. I think both of you. I think both of you can be right. Let me read more messages. Edmond Nana Flynn says no one is talking about David Silva. See?
Oh no, David Silva.
I'm saying we should
KDB has surpassed David Silva as Manchester City's greatest player.
That one is true.
We should situate
the argument. So attacking midfielders, central midfielders,
then you see.
defensive
Then we
midfielders.
can
Silva was what? Attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, the latter stages of his career, he became like a number 8.
It's like a
sometimes.
register.
This one here says that okay, so more messages. Interesting.
Oh yeah, it was bound to happen. This debate, it was
So
bound to
Bernard
happen.
Siama says Kante won the EPL with Leicester. The players around him in that team were not better than any of the players than what Gerrard had, but he slipped when he was needed the most. Scholes,
that's
Lampard, Gerrard. Charlie Gerrard did this slip really worrying career.
I swear.
He really worrying career. This one, Emmanuel Amposa says, Coit the rebound master. He never sound. Nana, I'm a Liverpool fan. The Kite, he was average at best. Don't even let us.
He was, you see, he was just those guys. He worked hard, but that if you see, and I'll be honest, when they say you work hard, it's a backhanded compliment.
I'm telling you,
because
work
the
hard,
least you
just
can
say.
do as a
It's
footballer
work
is work
hard.
hard. Yeah, it's a
like we
backhanded
pay you
compliment.
plenty money, like you won't run,
Backhanded.
you won't tackle. Go out there and go and tackle. Anyway, George Adama says that Gerrard single-handedly kept Liverpool competitive, Ben, and no wonder he had more appearances in Fifth Pro 11 than those things. I mean, I don't rate those things. Those World 11 and I don't do anything. with those
Hey,
things.
boss be that.
I don't do anything.
Boss
with
be
those
that.
things.
Boss be that.
I know where you're heading with this.
I'm not come say anything.
Don't
And
leave. Yeah, the heading. Is he? Is the? I know that people will like.
Oh no, I wasn't even come say anything. I was say, oh why?
I know why.
You are actually, I wasn't even going to go there. My
Fine.
mind was even
Once you
going
don't go there, it's fine.
But now that you've activated me,
don't do that. It's fine. Anyway, let's talk about the Accra Sports Stadium. Just quick updates. You have been to the stadium. You've spoken to the NSA DG. We knew that the place was set to be closed down. Now we are hearing that a concession has been made for the people with the oak tree to play a match there, and something. I'm just confused about that. Just clarify that for us.
Yeah, so the NSA just I was reaching out to one of the directors, and the person has confirmed that they've agreed to hand over the stadium to Accra House of Folk to use the place as their home venue for their next game against Mediama. You know, has traveled to Tuba to play Nations FC, and they lost. I'm really surprised though, because I thought that the NSA would have stuck with their initial stance of not allowing the stadium to be used. Ben, you were at the stadium. You watched the Chad game. If you climb the go there VIP, it's a death trap. And the DG himself has said it. He's labeled that place as a crime scene. You see, the things we even see on the outside, like the things that are there, are bare.
The things for naked eyes and like layman eyes.
If you go to the other places,
and imagine what the experts are seeing.
Washrooms and other things.
Yeah.
The stadium is not supposed to be used for any other activity. Any whether it's football or it's non-football. I was just doing my checks. 2024, we closed the stadium about 3 times. 2025, you have started again after the Chad game first. You know, en route to the Chad game, we said no. I think it was the AFCON qualifiers. We closed it down. We worked on it again because the Babara at that time, CAF had revoked the license of the Babara Sports Stadium.
Yeah.
So we had Accra Sports Stadium alone to use. And me, I don't understand this thing that we'll close a stadium. We know the issues at the stadium. We know that climbing the stairway is rusty. You hold it, you can literally fall.
You can literally peel away parts of the staircase because of the rust. You can break it with your hand.
The scoreboard was fixed not too long. It was last year's. It's not working.
The time during the Ghana and Chad game, it was doing hemwe. Like when it comes on small, then to go, then to come on small. So in the end, like the last 5 minutes, they turned it off completely.
Oh, Charlie.
The seats for the coaches.
Oh man,
We had to go and take it from Babara Sports Stadium and come and fix it there. You said you've closed the stadium. Work on it. We know that sometimes it takes time because funding then is an issue.
yeah.
We've seen that they said they've allocated 65.9 million Ghana cedis for sport. As to how much is going to go into refurbishment of this national stadium, question marks. We don't know. So I really don't understand. I don't know what on the part of Hearts of Folk they said to the NSA, to the extent that the NSA had to change their initial stance.
So Gabi, why is Hasselhoff still not using the Legon Stadium?
You know, the Legon Stadium in the next few years, it's now overbooked. We have CAF has given us this competition to host. What's the name? CAF African Schools Championship.
Yep.
And they've closed it down. Now they have to work on it to. You know, the pitch is not even good though.
Yeah,
the Legon Stadium, the pitch is. You saw what we did with the African games.
Yeah.
And if I think they had to let the clubs use, especially for Hearts of Folk, because one, they'll consider. Look, Hearts of Folk have to travel to Kaswa to go and play Tuba That's more work.
That shouldn't worry anybody. They
Fine.
have brought this upon themselves.
So now the reason why they have gone to see the NSA is that the Lagos Stadium is unavailable.
You see, the Accra Sports Stadium, Nketsia, the time has come for that.
To be closed down
No,
properly.
no. We need to
Tear it down.
tear it down.
Yeah, I think so too.
Look,
I was telling
we've
somebody
not
this
been-
after the Ghana game.
We've not been. I said we've been let down by the contractors that have worked on Accra Sports.
And the various people who have been in charge of
I don't understand.
Yep.
You see, you don't need to be a rocket scientist for you to clearly understand that. But where the stadium is situated, we don't need the facility to be constructed using metals.
And even if you use metal, you
Ah,
need to coat the metal with certain
Look,
things,
no
certain
matter
chemicals.
how
It
you
will-
coat it,
yeah.
it will definitely penetrate. So
True.
every 5, 6, 7 years,
You
we're
have to
going
maintain.
back and
True.
maintain.
So now they are saying that it's the sea that is.
It is.
That is what I'm saying.
No, it's definitely
So
part
we
of-
don't need
But I get that
metals.
point because clearly they didn't consider that. Or what was the reason
How
why
do
they
we
did
let
not
that?
have
Because
considered
in
that?
2008, is it the only best place is the Adekoka stand?
Yeah.
That is strictly concrete, cement.
Yeah.
When we had the chance to host the CAN 2008, we demolished the Osu stand, or the only stand that was not touched was the Adekoka stand. That was when we should have actually looked at the simple environmental facts
Yep.
and build the stadium properly. As it stands,
Polished wood.
I am not happy that we are going to be spending over 10 million. If it's want to put that place, we need to spend over $10 million
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
I think
So-
I need to tear down the structure.
Tear down the structure
Because this
and
structure,
let's go concrete.
This structure is old. It's not fit for a lot of things, and
see?
especially the multi-purpose activities they try to get money for.
Just tear it down.
Yeah.
Because look, all
All these half-hearted.
bottom.
Yeah.
And you know where the danger is? You see the parts where before the game they said that they were the upper terrace. They said that
where the railings
Is
are
it,
weak, and
Charlie?
if you touch the railings, you
Is-
fall over.
That
Yep.
is why we need to tear it down.
See, let me tell
what
you
sort of
something.
renovation? What sort of renovation?
And I'm happy that
that will not come again.
I'm happy that Yaon Pofuankra himself described it as a crime scene.
Yeah, so-
Look,
so Uncle Yao-
if they know this, they should shut down the ground and do proper work.
and look, collapse, demolish
Yep.
every
I-
metal
I
structure.
think so.
Which means that from the Osu stand all the way
need
to the
to- yeah.
scoreboard, all the way
I
to
think
the
so.
VIP, all those parts,
They need to go.
bring it down and then rebuild using simple concrete because of where it is situated.
and build it with modern.
As to
and modern-
why they've given it to Accra Sports Team, Uncle. Yao.
Is it conditional for just this game?
no, there's it didn't
Is
it didn't specify.
Yes, the information is
Uncle Yao, first mistake now we're committing.
because the question is
My
Why are you
lovely
going
sister.
back? Why are you backtracking?
My lovely sister.
Oh, I don't think they take these
No,
decisions.
they do.
No, these things are big government decisions. They
No, but if it is,
they
me,
supervise.
I don't know any big government decision. They are
Hold on. Let me explain. I'm not saying that. I'm saying. Hold on. I'm saying that. I'm saying that stadium renovation. Veronica Kome can't take a decision on whether the
I'm not saying
stadium is
to
renovated or
no.
not.
I'm saying that to give it to Accra House of Folk.
Oh, as in like the decision to
To
go
give
back.
it to House of
That
Folk.
I can agree.
As for the
That I can
renovation,
agree.
it's not that they have to advise that this thing
I
needs
can
to be
agree.
collapsed.
That I
But
can
to
agree.
give the stadium to House of Folk to go and use, people will die.
I say the media stand there. One day
Because
somebody
you know-
will climb up the media stand
then
there,
you realize
and
the
it will
whole
sink like
thing.
it will sink like quicksand. Everything will come down.
Don't do that.
You know-
Because look, security wise, we are very poor. We saw what happened at the Black Stars game, where areas that people shouldn't have gone. At the end of the day, we saw people occupying there. You give the stadium out, but the level of security that needs to guide how people will enter, the way they will behave, when the game starts, they will close our eyes and all that. By the time we realize, disaster. So, Uncle Yao, Antivero, wait there. Not. If you can rescind that decision, it must be rescinded immediately.
I think-
as a folk, they should go and play at Kaswa.
Tuba.
I mean, at trouble at Kaswa. James Simon, they should go and play the game at Kaswa. They shouldn't come back to the Accra Sports Stadium. It's not their facility.
So, Ben-
it's a national asset. So we need to protect it.
Good.
And do it well.
this is the
When I
point,
war.
this is the point I made on football made in Ghana. It's a national asset.
It's a national
The
asset.
stadium is a national
Don't
asset.
bend the rules because of House of
Now,
Hope.
I think we would have to get clarity on how long. Maybe we'll have to check the number of home games House of Folk you have to play, and how long this will continue. Because I think that look, this will then slow down. They use the word major renovations.
Yep.
Major.
Yep.
And if we say major, it's something extensive. It's not something they can get it down now.
They cannot. They shouldn't
pretty
do
sure.
any major renovation.
I'm even sure that.
They should collapse the area I have, because look, no matter the renovation they do,
Yeah, coach,
we'll
I get
come
it.
back
But
to
you know,
this place after
for the
5 years.
interim, I'm sure the
And after
the NSA would want to consider the last 2 home games.
Yeah.
You know, we have 2 more home games to play
take the game to Cape Coast.
in the World Cup qualifiers.
Take the game. That's
So
so
then they
I
want to
heard them
consider
saying
then-
they are considering Cape Coast.
Yes, those were the
Take
reports.
the game to Cape
But
Coast.
you're also
and fix-
denied it. But I think they would want to play all the games here in Accra.
So that's the lowdown. As far as this is
I just
concerned.
want to say something back to just taking us back a tiny bit. I went to check the games.
Yeah.
Bruno has played 28 games more, and if you do it by minutes, he's played the equivalent of 50 games more than Kevin De Bruyne since he came. It's
Fair.
a big difference.
Fair.
Yeah, and
Fair.
again, it's also minute by minute.
No,
What
no,
we
no.
are saying is,
If I say that if you've made the most,
if Bruno
it's fine,
is
no,
Man
but
City team, he will wrap up more better figures.
I'm not even
score more goals.
I don't know about assists. I definitely think he'll score more goals.
I know about assists. Look at the players that he's played with as strikers. And watch that version of Cavani.
I'll give you a stat.
Rasmus
I was
Højlund.
looking because I was looking. So I'll give you a stat right now. Per the expected assists that Bruno Fernandes has created and his assist, he's at -7. So it means that his teammates have wasted 7, the equivalent of 7 assists for
7
him.
assists.
Yeah, so that one he definitely will have more. No, but chances created is a pass leading to a shot. It's not. Or you don't understand what I'm
get
saying.
it. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm saying that one there, if you say you've created the most, I'm just saying that he's played a lot more games than Kevin De Bruyne. It's not that I'm saying that it's not. He hasn't tried though. He's one of the best, but let's cool down for him.
Whoa, 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 ah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Isaac. Whoa, 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 whoa.
For the record, that's Gabi.
Oh, Isaac. You know what I mean?
Brike.
Let's be professional. Lord Jesus. I just knew coach would do this. I just knew.
Anyway, we are at the end of our show. Let's do some shout outs. Let's do some quick shout outs before we go. Let's do quick shout outs.
I'll give a shout out to. I was driving today and some guy saw me. He asked me to roll down my window. So I wrote down there. They say he's a big fan of the show. So shout out to that guy. He didn't tell me his name. He didn't. I was a bit because someone says roll down your window. You're a bit. I was going on. So when he told us that one, yeah. So shout out to that guy. He didn't mention his name, but you're a big man. You're a big man.
Any more shouts? Any more
Oh
shouts?
yeah,
Go
big
around.
shouts to my guy Parkwesi Ansar Someone. Big shouts to you, big man. And a big shout to it's a belated birthday to Helen Grace of the production department inside Channel 1 TV. She also helps out with everything that we do on Citi FM. Helped out tremendously in the successful organization of the Back to Your Village Food Festival. And a happy belated birthday to Apioko.
Oh, yes.
Big woman.
Yeah,
Oh,
big,
yes.
big woman. Big
Happy.
shout to you.
Na lepo.
How Charlie?
In high wool
Chale.
egbe apana.
Onu sisi wale happy wale beno
happy, of
happy
course.
and nayo.
Of course,
Wale beno nye fion ye ni bi. Chale. Chale.
Happy birthday in advance. You see, at the food festival, I met this wonderful family, and the man is called Yao Chris. Beautiful wife, very handsome son. I mean, the son is absolutely handsome. I am told that on the 7th of April, which will be Monday, and the boy happens to be my name.
Oh,
He's called Christopher Deladem Kofi Nyankosa.
Hard.
Young
Hard.
man, look,
Hard.
God will bless you. The name Christopher simply means a follower of Christ.
Oh, Charlie.
That's why I don't joke with my Christ.
Oh, Charlie.
I don't joke because I lived according to the accolades of my name. You are a follower of Jesus Christ. God will bless you.
Thank you.
Your blessings will be beyond the imaginations of man. God will enrich your father.
Thank you.
And your mother.
Thank you.
To take you to places.
Oh, Charlie.
God
Amen.
bless you and happy birthday in advance.
Let me-
Christopher Deladem Kofi Nyankosa.
Let me read a few messages and then I'll go into a few shout outs myself. So Ato Kwame, now my good Liverpool friend Ato Kwame. He said, if you value titles and longevity, Scholes might take it. If you are about goals for midfield, Lampard is unmatched. If you go by raw influence and leadership, Gerrard is your guy. If you want total dominance, Patrick Vieira. And if you are into modern day genius, De Bruyne is a strong pick. I think he's right in every sense of the word, but Ato, we still want one person. It doesn't help me. I kind of get where he's coming from. Again, let me read. Seydou Adamu. Oh, Charlie.
Boga Seydou.
Right now, Seydou before.
I come to the US. I come meet you for
Seydou say, where do we place Vieira in the list of PL midfielders? How can Gerrard win the league with Jamie Carragher in defense? Sliding tackle. Let me do a quick shout today. So today I was at Merton International School.
Yeah.
I had to do some mentoring.
Was it career day?
It wasn't career day per se. It was like a project for their year 5 students, and they chose football as a theme. So they did some wonderful stuff. Took it from the history of Ghana football, talked about careers of football, the science behind Roberto Carlos's banana free kick. Like they had some Newton's law explanations and things for that stuff. Look, it was absolutely amazing. Like to hear kids at that age express themselves at that level, I was in awe for like 1 hour 30 minutes, and I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. So big shout outs to Mr. Gideon Akosu, who is the year 5 teacher. He's their class teacher. And Mr. Isaac Somwa Nyakon, he's the assistant headmaster or the vice principal. I think that's what they call the vice principal. Isaac Somwa Nyakon. The two of you are big men. Big shout outs to all the people at Merton International School. It was absolutely wonderful. More shouts?
Yeah, more shout. Ben, you have a big fan at in my class.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
The guy they free on Matter
yeah?
Pass. There be two, one to be sure.
Oh
so.
yeah? Charlie, you got
To be honest, they've actually said it every time. If I go class and they talk, but I didn't forget. But they say Charlie today if I not do because today I was on campus.
Are you sure I'm not trying to set me up?
Oh, how I go set you
You're
up?
setting me up for my enemies.
No. Yeah. So,
what are their names? So let's hear them.
big fans.
The guy is not invited. But the little lady.
Oh, you should mention their names. I mean,
she can come here next week Friday.
mention their names.
To the show.
Their names.
Okay.
May I stand for gender equality? They are both invited.
No. He's on.
The guy's name is Gideon Ajiman.
Okay.
And then the lady is Cassandra.
Oh,
So-
Charlie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and a big shout to Anna Planche. She's the acting registrar of the Ghana Psychology Council.
Cassandra, you are invited.
Yes, we've been interacting with
My
them
boss would like to
in
meet
recent
you.
times. In recent times, about how sports and psychology work, and a big shout to Dr. ABC, Dr. Collins Ajiman Bedu at the University of Ghana. Yeah, big shout to you.
Dr. ABC.
Yeah, Dr. ABC, Dr. Collins Ajiman Bedu.
That'd be hard.
Yeah, big shout to you.
But let me finish off with my two guys. As always, Dominic Gucci
Gucci May.
Daniel
Payday.
Thank you.
No more payday.
Oh, Charlie. Mr. Graham?
Oh, I give that's why I said
So we got the shots already.
I'm good. Hey, Valco Hall.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Valco Hall ladies no.
Victor Yokeres.
Valco Hall ladies no.
Anyway, thank you very much. Charlie, thank you very much. My name is Benjamin Nketsia. Coach namely Susu Graham, Jemita, Gabi Ofe, helping to make the show possible. That's Monyako with hands in the studio. Big thanks to all of you guys who were patient with us, especially our YouTube community. And apologies once again for the bad sound. We'll make sure that we'll get it right the next time around. Same time next week, Sports Panorama will be back.
This is Citi 97.3.
Courtesy call on the